Now, the South African Democratic Teachers Union in KZN is concerned about the spike in violence around schools in the province. The situation has worsened because of robberies of some teachers in the area. Some principals have been blocked from working in certain parts because they are not from the area. Joining us to tell us more about these challenges is Nomarashiya Caluza, who's the SADTU Provincial Spokesperson. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. As a union, you've expressed some concern in safety in schools, not only across the country, but KZN has seemingly been the most affected province as a result of the violent crimes and robberies taking place there. What's been happening?
Good afternoon to you and to the viewers, and thanks for this opportunity. You know, since the beginning of the year, as SADTU in KwaZulu-Natal, we've been dealing with a number of cases reported by members. These cases are cases of violence and instability in schools where we have seen, in fact, they are unfolding in many different forms. Like, for example, we have teachers that have been attacked in their schools with all their possessions taken by the criminals. These criminals sometimes bring speed points so that teachers can transfer money or they must withdraw money. But in other areas like KwaMaphumulo, we have cases where teachers are being chased away in some schools on the basis that they are not coming from those areas. It's more like there's a growing tendency from some community members where they only want people born and bred in the areas to work in those schools. In other parts like Umlazi, we have seen, as well as Kokstead, we have seen cases of robbery, burglary, and all these things. They affect teaching and learning, but most importantly, our members who are teachers are affected in a big way, emotionally, psychologically. They find it so difficult to continue working in those areas without any support from the communities. And as we know, there's violence and crime in our society, and in our view as SADTU, it is so difficult for schools to be immune from those occurrences.
The support of teachers by the community, the support of the school by the community is of the utmost importance in ensuring that the school does become a conducive learning environment, and also, that sense of protection from the community in itself would also be beneficial. How are you looking to now repair relations? What levels of talks have been underway?
You know, as the union, we are proud of our branches in Pinetown, the area called Thousand Hills, and Botha's Hill, Hammersdale, because in those areas, the leadership of SADTU in branches were able to initiate engagement between stakeholders in the community, local councillors, as well as the leaders that are known in the community, to come together with SADTU presenting these frustrations as faced by teachers. And we are happy because at least we can see improvement. In fact, it is after those engagements which were initiated by the union that we saw the arrest of 4 of these criminals that were now affecting and robbing schools in the areas of the Pinetown district and Umlazi. And we believe that we must continue to strengthen these relations, especially with the school governing bodies and then with the bigger community as well as the community policing forums, because our understanding is that if the community can come together in support of the school, indeed, we will have our schools being the safe havens for teaching and learning, where teachers can teach and learners learn without disruptions and without these attacks that are draining them psychologically, which therefore affect the activity of the classroom. As you have said, if they are attacked in this way, if there's violence, there's no way that there can be teaching and learning taking place effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of assistance from the Provincial Department of Education, are there any plans of perhaps boosting security?
There are plans on paper, I must say, because you remember that around 2012, the National Department, the DBE, introduced the quality learning and teaching programs and campaigns. And provinces were expected to establish teams in all levels, meaning the district, circuits, and schools. But all the time, we always say to the department, it does not assist to have these structures on paper without them properly functioning, because with these QLTP teams, we can see the same situation and the same initiatives that the union has now spearheaded, where everyone that is in support of education and education loving come together in support of teaching and learning and in support of our schools. So far, the department, of course, has those structures, but we are not sure about their functionality. Secondly, is the issue of the safety plans that are always initiated and policies, but it is becoming clearer that these policies that are on paper do not help when it comes to the practical assistance and the support to schools. What is needed is practical engagement and having people in these task teams in full force operating and working in support of schools, so that there's no one who can come closer to do and to commit violence and crime in our schools.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the discussions with the SAPS and working with the community in enabling education to take place, learning to take place, I mean, you make a lot of the mention on how these attacks are now taking their toll on staff's psychological well-being. Also perhaps give us some insight on the kind of feedback you're getting from educators, as well as perhaps the other option of roping in the police safety forums to come and assist with ensuring security at the schools.
Yes, in the areas that are mostly affected, like Pinetown, Umlazi, as I've said, our union in those branches was working also with the SAPS. But what is also not assisting is the fact that we don't have many police stations in our communities. And the issue of resources and the fact that sometimes the police will say, we want to come, but we are still waiting for others to come in. They are out because they are also short-staffed. But we can report confidently that through the initiatives of our branches like Boinkies and others, they were able to rope in the SAPS. SAPS is always willing. The only thing that is needed is for them to be fully supported in terms of the resources, the vans they need, so that at least there can be patrolling by the police in hotspot areas that have been identified. And the fact that, as we are saying, 4 of these criminals have been arrested in Durban and 1 in Pietermaritzburg. To us, it shows that the SAPS is also working, but we would love a situation where these relations are structural to the extent that there are scheduled meetings where we can sit down, engage, and monitor the trends in terms of violence to our schools, because the danger is that when teachers feel unsafe and insecure, the only thing that they are now calling for is that they must be assisted so that they can move away from those schools. The chief question that we have, who will remain in those schools? So it's important for the community to realize the importance of them coming together, working with us as the union to ensure that our schools are stable and they are supported and protected.
Yeah. And very lastly, before we let you go, is there any substance to some of the complaints that you're getting from community members that you're not employing, the department is not employing the graduates within the area? I mean, does that stand on any ground?
Yes, it does come out, but also what we have learned through these recent incidents is that even in schools where there's security or security personnel, you do find situations where these criminals will come and do whatever and attack teachers at gunpoint, demanding their belongings or their possessions. So you also understand that the security personnel that we have is just standing there by the gate with a book, and these people, when they come, they will register. They will register as if they are coming for a good cause. So we have to get into a deep debate around the issues of safety and security in schools with the understanding
perhaps let me rephrase, just pardon my interruption, just let me rephrase my question. What I meant to say was, do you think that there is some substance to some of the complaints that are being raised by the community? Some community members are saying they feel that graduates who have graduated within the education sector are not being given opportunities at their local schools. Do you think the Department of Education should really scrutinize that and ensure that some of the graduates do indeed get placed within their local schools? Is that a valid complaint?
Yes, it is, and it is very important, because when they raise it, they say if the security personnel is coming from the school, is coming from the surroundings, it will be easier for the community to get engaged and participating in those areas. And it is also, even though we know that in terms of the policy, that it does not apply, but there's a need for the department to also consider these views and that are coming from the community.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. SADTU KZN spokesperson Nomarashiya Caluza speaking about some of the concerns the union has when it comes to escalating violence across schools in KZN.